Holy shit, YouTube, we're back. I'm in a really good mood. This is episode 60 of the Super Deformed Gamescast. I think it just scared Brandon.
I'm all right, yeah.
I'm in a really good mood. It's been a really, really cool week. Been playing some fucking
Gamescast now with jump scares.
Yeah, we are now the official chapter 13 of the gaming podcast. But
I forgot about that.
But
to forget.
Anybody who's gotten as far as chapter 13 Final Fantasy 15 knows what we're talking about. But we're here. It's been a really, really awesome week. There's a lot to talk about. A lot of good games we're playing. A lot of good games we're going to talk about because we had our own inside man chilling at PSX while the rest of us were here trying to finish all these games so we could talk about them. He was off gallivanting. I love that word. He was gallivanting at PSX, playing all
gallivanting like a champ.
Man, you were gallivanting all over the place. So here's what I want to do. Like, we're going to start off by talking about what we've all been playing normally. But Torpedo Vegas, I want to end with. I'll never get over saying that. I want to end with you because I want you to talk about, if you could, like some of the shit you saw at PSX and some of the games you played. And he's gone. He's fucking gone.
He said, "Fuck your shit. I do what I want."
He's like, "I'm out." No, he'll be back.
Answers that question.
But how is everybody doing this week?
Fantastic.
Pretty good.
Out.
Good.
Fucking standing. Matt sounds like he doesn't win. Matt's like, good.
Yeah,
Well, it's okay, man. It's okay. It's finals week somewhere. We'll go ahead and start with Brandon. Dude, I already know what you've been playing, but I want you to talk about it. Let's hear it.
I beat Final Fantasy 15.
Okay, so you're done. Like
35 hours at level 45.
So as a fellow Final Fantasy man, what are your thoughts now that you've finished it, and you can sit there and kind of think about it and compare it to older games?
I liked it. I liked it a lot, but it has problems. Even as someone who like considers, I guess it's in my top 5 Final Fantasies now. That might degrade over time, but I was pretty high on it when I finished it. But like I said a couple weeks ago, so was I on 13 when I finished that.
Yeah.
But like I can read all the criticisms for it and like absolutely see where they're coming from, and I guess it just doesn't matter as much to me. But like, I mean, there's so much stuff in there where you're just like, yeah, I see why. Like chapter 13, yeah, it goes on too long. Jared, nobody knows who the fuck Jared is. There's like, there's plenty of stuff in there, and like the transition in chapter 8, that mission where you start off in like the reactor or whatever. It's just like, what is happening? Like,
Is there ever like a point to that, or is it just kind of dropped in there? Like,
it's really just kind of dropped in there.
I think that's the thing that bothers me the most. Like some of the criticisms, I agree with them, and they bother me, I think, more than some of you guys. But it's just, you can see that they could have had something so good. Like it did turn out well, but you could see like if they just had more time, even, and I don't know if it ever would have been finished. But
they needed
it's
another
so close.
2 years.
Yeah.
I mean, the story like barely holds together. It really does. And like
it's just weird to me that it's been 10 years and they haven't finished the story. Like,
I mean, it's been 4 realistically.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the assets that were I think a big hurdle that a lot of people aren't getting over is one, like, and like if you look at places like Gap, you can see it is people were like, oh, I just want versus 13. I just want versus 13, and I think that's a mental hurdle that a lot of people haven't gotten over yet. I mean, I can see the criticisms in the story, but at the same time, like, I like it better than the story in 13 or 12. I mean, so I mean, I guess it is what it is. Brandon, are you gonna do all the post game stuff? Are you gonna go for plat?
Yeah, whenever I beat a game, I always instantly lose all motivation to continue playing it, even if there's like stuff after.
Yeah, that's me. When the credits roll, I'm like, sweet.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so like
I'm playing this game, and then like I beat it, I'm like, I kind of want to do something else.
Exactly.
Like play rock.
Yeah. I mean, I went right back to Overwatch. I've been playing that all day yesterday and today. So like, I will get back to Final Fantasy 15 because I don't feel like it's a hard platinum. So.
With the way the story is and kind of the nature of the post-game content, I think it's one of those games that you don't really need to. It's not like some where you kind of get back and you're like, what am I doing? Like, it's going to be really easy to come back if there's a patch that improves performance or something, or they add some extra content. You just jump back in and do some extra dungeons, do some kind of.
They're adding more cutscenes, aren't they?
So
they added cutscenes in between disc printing and day one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they're doing even more than that, though. Like,
Yeah,
I thought I read that the other day.
Yeah, they
Well,
are.
and
They
that's
need
kind of
to.
causing, that's kind of causing a big stink right now a lot on Twitter is the fact that people are saying, well, the game is. I know that Kotaku tweeted out that, hey, we were all beta testers, and I don't agree with that. Because I mean a beta, or like it was an early access game, and anybody who says that Final Fantasy 15 is an early access game, in my opinion, has not played a fucking early access game. I mean, the story has its issues. There's no denying that at all. And I mean, it's my game of the year, and I'm still telling you, yeah, the story's got fucking problems. It takes a long time to ramp up. I mean,
everything happens in like the last 4 chapters.
Yeah, it all kind of all of a sudden goes like, well, here's your story. And I mean, it's simple enough. Like, and I get what they were going for. I mean, really, the focus is the 4 bros and the road trip and the relationship and the dynamic between those 4 characters.
And that's what makes the ending so good. Like, even if the story maybe doesn't wrap up all cohesively, like they nailed the brotherhood there.
The ending fucking will get you like if you got a group of bros, the ending will get you right in the fucking feels. Like, there's no denying that. And it's one of those things where, like, a lot of people are upset that they say, hey, well, we're based on fan reaction, we're going to add some more backstory and characters like Ravis, for example, right? And
I mean, Ravis is a character where you're just kind of like, what?
Yeah, and I get it, and I'm fine with it. A lot of people take that as the game being unfinished, but what people are missing is that this is based on people wanting to see more of that character. I mean, they don't have to do this; they're just doing it. And if you don't like it, I guess don't play it or don't play it again. I mean, there's a bunch of
there's 14 other Final Fantasy games.
Well,
you know what they could have done, and no one would have said a damn thing. Is say, hey, we're adding some free DLC to expand on some of the storyline for you. Boom.
The way they word it makes it sound like it exists. So whether it does or not, I don't know. But my gut tells me that this isn't being built from the ground up. They have these scenes that were removed and didn't make it in time and are just being added back. And I think that's why people are frustrated. If the story was already cohesive and satisfying, and then they added extra stuff, it wouldn't sting as much. Yeah. I think that's where the anger's coming from. They're not mad that they're adding stuff. They're kind of already mad that they were disappointed with the story, and now this is just kind of pushing them over that edge.
It has so much potential
before. Yeah.
Well, and I get that, but it's like, people are saying, oh, well, I play the inferior version, and like, Ravis is not a pivotal character. Like they could remove him from the game completely, and it wouldn't change the game at all.
They really could. Yeah. Really could.
Like it would not affect the actual story of the game one bit.
Yeah. It's not like he's Hojo or something.
Yeah, he's not the main antagonist. So I mean, it's just one of those things where I take it or leave it, I guess. But there's a lot of other stuff coming. I guess they're like this month they're doing a new game plus and like a god mode and a level cap, and they're going to add like limited time hunts and optional bosses and stuff.
That's all
like
good
that.
stuff.
So, yeah, that's all good stuff. I'll take it. But yeah, Brandon, anything else you want to say about 15?
Nah.
Okay. JT, what about you, man?
I mean, I could talk about it for hours, but that would be a spoiler.
Yes. So could I. And yeah.
So I have 2 games to talk about. I could talk about, like 20, since there are so many games, amazing games out right now that I want to be playing. But I've been playing mainly 2 this week. First is Dead Rising 4. That game is just a really fun action, like it's almost like a brawler now. Like, so if you know anything about the series, it's always been this kind of like campy sort of a niche kind of game where it's got weird mechanics. It's got the time limit. It has weird controls where you can't. And it's always felt kind of archaic in its design with like guns and like the melee weapons and stuff, and you have to like hold healing items in your inventory. You're limited on that, and so Dead Rising 4, I mean, the series has gotten progressively more modern feeling, but Dead Rising 4 has kind of taken it into like modern gaming, like that you can just jump right into, kind of how Final Fantasy 15 is a modern Final Fantasy. So it feels much more actiony. Like the controls feel good. They did away with the healing item, so whatever you pick up heals you anymore. It's not like orange juice. It makes you heal more than a soda or something like that. Everything just feels more. Yeah, I mean it's crazy, right? Like it's everything just feels more streamlined, and it is fun as hell. Like, you're back in the mall with a bunch of zombies, and you craft stuff. Crafting is so much easier. You don't have to have like the two things taking up your inventory now. You can walk up to something, and if it's there on the ground, you just hold B and it crafts right there for you. So like I made like a flame sword earlier out of like a cutlass and like a firework thing, and then you just craft it right there, and boom, you have like this awesome thing.
I mean, it seems like a totally reasonable thing to do in the zombie apocalypse. So
yeah, I mean, like it's hard to describe. It's just like way insane, over the top action, and it's just so much fun. You don't have a time limit now, so you're free to do whatever you want. That's been my main frustration with this series. I love what Dead Rising is. Like, you can walk around, kill zombies. Like, that in itself is fun. So that is, what I've wanted out of the series all along. And the first 3, you had a time limit. So I felt like you couldn't walk around and kind of do what you wanted. You were always like being pushed along. Like, you can either tackle these side missions or tackle one of like the main bosses. And I get the people that like that structure because it facilitates multiple playthroughs, but I personally myself like you can just relax, you can kill thousands of zombies at the time all at once without even having to touch
worry about that time limit, right? Like
no time limit, no mandatory missions that you have to get to progress the game, or else it's a game over. You fail. You can say it's got autosave now. You don't have to just save only in bathrooms or
I remember that.
in your storehouse or whatever.
That always struck me as weird. I was like, why do I need to take a shit in order to save my game?
Dead Rising 1 was a very strange game.
Yeah, I mean, the design has always been kind of wonky and weird, and now it feels like it's a more modern game and more streamlined, but it has cut some of the quirks that I think people liked about the series. So personally, I love it. It's great to just walk around and kill zombies, but I can see where people are coming from.
I mean, yeah, the
design perspective.
Right.
Are you playing it on Xbox One?
Playing on PC. Playing on Windows 10, and I'm not happy with the performance so far. Like, it started out great, it ran awesome, 60 frames and stuff, and as I've been playing it, it's gotten progressively worse. It's like stuttering and stuff, so I'm hoping that's just a Windows Store thing. I don't know if it plays better on Xbox or what, but I hope they patch it soon. I'm not expecting anything though. My standards are very low for the Windows Store at this point.
Did they ever fix up Quantum Break? I think they did, didn't they?
No. It still doesn't run well for me.
Really?
Neither does Forza Horizon 3. Gears 4 is the only Windows platform game out right now that
Gears
actually
4 is amazing.
Because it's
it's
Unreal Engine 4. So it's super easy.
Well, Dead Rising 4 is Unreal Engine 4 now.
Okay.
Yeah. They used to run on like the MT frameworks, and now they've kind of updated it. And so hopefully that it's a Capcom game, not like a Microsoft Studios game. They will patch it and make it, whenever it comes out on Steam in 3 months, it'll be parity, but I don't know. But Steep, I feel like Jeff's going to talk about that. I just want to touch on it a little bit.
I want to hear about Steep.
Steep is okay. So that was like my most anticipated game coming out of E3.
Real quick, JT. I just want to point out that I love how Brandon goes, "Yeah, Steve, I want to hear about that." I know that's not what he meant. I know that's not what he meant, but it was just fucking hilarious for me. Anyway, please continue.
I do want to hear about Steep.
It was my most anticipated game coming out of E3. Like, the idea of that just sounds awesome, and it's completely surpassed what I was expecting. I described it the other day as if you took Skate and SSX and put them together, and this just open world that you can go anywhere, and that is just so appealing to me. Like, that's I could ride around and skate for hours. It was just fun just playing the game. You don't have to be doing anything, progressing the story, anything like that. So Steep is awesome. Like, I was playing the other day with Jesse Hoge from Twitter and Gaff, and we hopped on. We had both just started the game. We just had gotten out of the tutorial. Our levels were very similar, and we just were cruising around the mountain, like following each other and chasing each other, trying to like best each other. And the great thing about how Steep is set up is the online systems that you can like challenge somebody right there in the thing, and like press retry, and like you can go challenge it and do it. It's all seamless. Like you can press square whenever you're out and about on the mountain. When somebody comes barreling past you, you press square, and it'll send them an invite for the group. All they got to do is press one button, and you're together now. And so you can like fast travel to any of these different challenges, locations that you've unlocked on the mountains, and just one right after another. And it's just so seamless the way that they do the challenges and the friends and the social stuff. It's really cool. So we like, I wasn't expecting to be there for like 3 hours, but literally like it was just so fun to roam around with him. Like if I bailed, I'd like, flop down and he'd come flying and hit me, and it just ragdoll us both down the mountain. And it's just a fun time. It's just cool, chilling out, hanging. It's not fast paced. It's just it's a really cool way to chill out.
Were you playing it in VR or what?
There is no VR.
I thought it had a VR capability.
Wait,
No.
what? It's not VR?
It's not. No,
What?
but it has a mode that would be amazing in VR. It's just got a first-person mode, so at any time you can press L1 and go into. It's actually like the GoPro mode. They have like a branding in there.
You're telling me Steep is not VR?
I could have sworn they advertised a VR. Brandon, am I going crazy or?
Am I going crazy? I was 100% sure it was a VR.
I mean,
I don't
help me
ever
out on this.
remember a VR thing for that.
Yeah, I
That's
don't know what we're
weird.
talking about.
That's so crazy because I was 100% sure it was a
Yeah,
VR.
me too.
It's weird because it seems like it'd be perfectly suited for that, like flying down the
Yeah,
mountain.
the
And the sense of
graphics look like a
speed.
fucking PS2 game. That's why I thought
Okay, hold on. I found an old post on Twitter. There was a tweet from an account called Steep the Game that said
Oh,
it would have
yeah.
VR support, and it turned out to not be an official game account. It was a fake.
Oh.
I mean, I just
That's-
straight up thought from the trailers and the way the game looked. That it was
Yeah.
VR.
I mean,
That
fingers
blows my
crossed for
mind.
it to support in the future, because that would be absolutely amazing to have. But
But when you watch the GoPro mode and replays, you don't think that's just going to make you throw up in VR?
it might, yeah, because it's so it's so shaky. Like, I mean, they made it true to life. They made
Realistic,
it pretty
yeah.
accurate. Yeah. So I don't
Why
know.
are the graphics so bad?
What?
Why are the graphics so bad?
Are they bad?
No,
They
it's
look
actually
terrible.
beautiful.
I
No,
have
it's-
to be thinking of a completely different game then.
You
Because
must
they
be.
were really bad in the alpha. I played the alpha on PS4. It was one of the ugliest games I played this gen.
I mean, I've only seen trailers, but in the trailers it looked like a fucking like early Gen 360 game or something.
No, it's
No,
gorgeous.
And I was like, oh, okay,
beautiful,
I guess
and
that'll look okay in VR. But
the
then,
lighting on the mountains is just unreal. It's great. They
And the
nailed.
animations are so smooth. Every transition is like so good.
my mind
Yep.
is blown right now.
Yeah, I just like. I'm fucking. I'm beside myself. Like I. But
Yeah,
the
no,
thing
I
is,
am
is,
too,
like,
dude. I'm right there with you. This is a revelation for me.
Like I do. I feel like this has like changed everything. I've been thinking this entire time that Steve has like this fucking big, involved, like immersive VR mode, and I
Yeah,
could have
so did I.
sworn. I could have sworn I saw it like presented at a show. Like I feel like I'm taking fucking crazy pills right now. Like, dude, you have completely blown my mind.
I mean, I know that
understand.
there's like an Everest VR thing, but that's not what I'm thinking of. So.
Yeah, that's fucking nuts. Well, I mean, at least it sounds like you're enjoying
Without
it.
VR
so-
though, it's a fantastic game. I both Dead Rising 4 and Steep. If they were released a little bit earlier, that I could put a bunch of time into them, they would probably appear on my Game of the Year lists.
Well, speaking of Steep, Jeff, you had a few things to say about Steep as well, right? Because you've been playing it pretty extensively.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't had a lot of time to play games the last week or two. So I have like 4 or 5 hours in it. My experience is a lot different than JT because I'm playing on the PC for loners. But it's fun. It's kind of just my relaxation game. I play it like right before bed for an hour or in the morning when I get up and I'm drinking my coffee. And like JT said, it's just fun to just cruise. Like I'm amazed. Like the thing I'm doing right now. So there's different points that you unlock as you progress, and some of them are locked behind levels. So I can't go to the highest points on the mountain. So what I'm trying to do now is just find the highest spot that I can get to, or try and do a parachute thing, and just because you can land anywhere and then switch to your snowboard. So I've just been doing the snowboarding. I haven't even touched the other activities, but I'm trying to get as high as I can and go all the way down and just see how long of a run I can get. And I have some that are like 20 minutes or more, like from top to bottom.
Oh yeah, going from the top of the bottom to the mountain, like that video that you posted the other day, that was so awesome. But yeah, I mean, it takes forever to get from all the way to the top to like you can actually like run out and like you reach the end of the map because it's just so like, I mean, the area feels kind of small whenever you zoom out, but then you like teleport in and you're like, holy shit, this is huge. And it's the starter mountain. It's the very first one.
Yeah, exactly. And like even on the way down, I didn't notice this so much doing the smaller ones. When you start from the top and you really get a lengthy run, there's a nice variety too. It's not all just snow. Like you might go through kind of a forested area, and then there's little chalets or villages spread out. You know, it's a shame they didn't manage to get any wildlife or kind of other people walking around, but and then there's like you'll kind of go through a glacier field or something like that, and it changes as you go. It's not monotonous. So the atmosphere is really good, and just the way the wind sounds and the sounds of the snow and the boards, like all of it feels really authentic for someone who, you know, I snowboard and I only go once or twice a year, but they really nailed it. I think like it feels great to play.
I wish I could do the mountain stories.
Co-op stuff, but what's that?
Have you done any of the mountain stories?
No, I didn't.
Okay, you should do those. Those are like the so each peak has its own name, and you like the lighting and atmosphere of each mountain, like each area is different. So like the second mountain has way different. It feels like, if that sounds silly to say, but it feels like the mountains have a personality because you can warp to whatever peak or whatever, and it's just like the music starts playing basically based on what mountain you're at. It's like either like a hard and heavy or just like an atmospheric, you know, kind of electro music, and you just start cruising down from the peak, and it just like the music ramps up and everything, and you just like look around and it's beautiful. So like having personal areas. Yeah.
Ooh, good question.
All right, game of the year.
The hard-hitting question. All right, so let me. God damn it! The Cardinals just signed Dexter Fowler.
Yeah,
I don't know what that means. Okay,
So
big deal apparently. I don't know.
We've already. Chapman went to fucking New York, by the way. Anyway, we're talking baseball now. So let me ask both you, Jeff, and Flunky something. As a longtime fan of SSX and kind of that cartoony style, like this, do you feel like Steep is something that I would enjoy, or no?
I don't. Well, if it's on sale, maybe give it a chance. I haven't fully come to terms with the mechanics. Like there's some nice depth to the tricks, but it's much more grounded than SSX. And I think.
Okay.
Sorry, go ahead, JP.
Okay, so like if Tony Hawk is the equivalent to SSX, then this is the Skate. So if you enjoyed
That's
like
the analogy I was just thinking about.
the more like mechanical, it's less about like the flash and the tricks and everything.
This is about the flow, right? The feel, the flow, kind of.
It's just, you know, you can spend 20 tries on a challenge and you get it down perfectly, and you're just like, yes. And that's the same sensation that I had with Skate. You know, even though I don't skate and I rarely snowboard, it's just, you know, nailing a run, and I imagine it's like this in real life, feels great, and you're like, wow, that was so satisfying. Okay. So if you like Skate, like the more like, you know, it has to do with like the mechanics of it, like you have to like flip here at the apex of your jump and then, you know, stick the landing, you know, I think you might enjoy it.
So it sounds like the actual skate, the actual like the actual mechanics, like if you were skiing or snowboarding down a mountain, it sounds like it's far more grounded and realistic than something like SSX.
Yeah, it's not over the top like SSX at all.
Okay, yeah, that doesn't sound like it would be up my alley.
I'd say, you know, if you're at all interested in it, you should give it a try. Maybe, you know, not at $60, but if it's on sale, definitely try it out.
Well, it's going to be a while before I'm playing anything else because I'm doing all the Final Fantasy 15.
Oh, there's so many.
Christmas Overwatch event starts on Tuesday.
I'll have to get down on that as well.
It's going to be a snowy King's Row.
Jeff, you've been playing last. Did you finish Last Guardian, Jeff?
No, I'm what I guess is like a third through. But holy shit!
Yeah, talk about that.
Yeah, that came out of nowhere. Like I'm not. So I played Shadow of the Colossus and Eco, Is that it's Eco, right? I'm pronouncing it right? Not
Yeah.
Eco.
Yeah.
Eco.
Yeah, I think it's
So-
Eco.
I've always
Uh,
said Ico.
13 years old in
Deuce
2000.
X.
Deuce X.
Siphon filter.
So I mean, I like those games. I would say I even love them. I don't know if they're in my top 10 like all time. You know, it's not my favorite, but they are really special to me, and especially Shadow of the Colossus. That at least at the time was one of the most memorable experiences I'd had. So I was looking forward to this, but I guess my expectations were like I didn't know what I was going to get. The trailers all looked great, and you know I was hoping it'd be like Ueda's old games, but it's just blown me away. Like the second it booted up, and I like the art and atmosphere is really good from the previews, but I wasn't that impressed technically. But when I saw it on my TV, you know, and I've heard it looks very similar on the base PS4, even though I'm playing on Pro. I don't think there's a huge difference in image
It just
quality.
runs at 20 frames a
I'm
second.
gonna say
Yeah.
it runs like a fucking. It's very cinematic on the base.
Yeah, and I mean even on the Pro, the frame rate is not good. But
Unacceptable. On the Pro, come on.
Yeah.
It just should be
Oh.
locked 30. Give me a fucking
Yeah,
break.
that's sad.
Yeah, but that and the camera, I guess, are the one blemish to me. The controls I actually think are fine. They're just a little bit obtuse and they're not all explained. It's weird. Like the game starts you off and it gives you like button prompts. It'll be like press triangle to climb. When you come up with something you can climb, and then like 10 seconds later you come up to another something. It's like press triangle jump. Like you get button prompts nonstop for like the first hour for the same actions, and then they kind of fade away, but you still get them once in a while. But I just found out there's all these kind of things you can do that aren't even, it doesn't give you a prompt for at all. You have to go into the digital manual for the game, and it gives you like kind of how you can issue different commands to Trico, and apparently there's actually a way you can attack enemies that I didn't even know about. I thought you just had to run.
That's kind of irritating. Like I would.
Yeah. It's just one of those games that it could have just done with a little bit more, not handholding, but like it didn't present itself very well. Kind of like how when I played Wonderful 101 is what I'd compare it to, where I just had a frustrating time with that game because I didn't really know what I was doing, and then
Yeah, if you don't watch a half-hour YouTube video before you start
yeah.
Wonderful
So this
101,
isn't nearly that deep, but it's just one of those things that the controls are actually fine. They just don't tell you how the game works, basically. And it's the same with Trico. A lot of people I've heard have been frustrated with kind of trying to give him commands, but it's because he behaves like a real animal and he's very big and weighty. His animations are just slow and drawn out because he takes a while to do things. So when you issue command to kind of go over there and jump up on this thing, he'll kind of slowly look at it, and then he'll kind of go up and sniff it and look at it a bit and paw at it, and then he'll jump up, and you just have to be patient and just kind of watch how he reacts to it, and that's just part of the game. But I think where the frustration's coming from is you hit go, and he doesn't go, and then you hit it again, and I think when the commands queue up, you can kind of be canceling out of stuff, and that's where a lot of that's coming from. So I think the controls and stuff like that are okay. It's just the camera is bad in the tight spaces. The frame rate is bad, but it hasn't. I mean, it's inexcusable. I won't beat around the bush. Like it shouldn't.
So like if Trico, let's say like if Trico shits on the carpet, is there a button to send him to his crate? Do that. Like,
No, he's a good boy. He doesn't do stuff like that. He's trained. Yeah, he just fights off the bad guys for you. But so all that stuff aside, it's one of the most gorgeous games I played on my PS4, despite the frame rate. It looks stunning.
You're not the only person to say that, yeah.
In terms of HDR, it's probably tied or second best to Ratchet and Clank. One's kind of cartoony and one's a little bit more realistic, so I don't know how to exactly compare the two, but there's parts where I had to squint. Like it's so bright when you go outside, especially from inside a cave. The animations, like hands down, the best living creature I've ever seen in a game.
So it sounds like it looks markedly better than the E3 demo we saw last year.
Yeah, it's the same game. It's more, I don't know if it's just seeing it on my TV, but it's just more polished, and there's some subtle camera movements. Just the way the camera slightly shakes when he jumps, like you feel his size, you feel his weight, and the animations, the way he reacts to your presence. A lot of games when you have NPCs that kind of look at you, it always is like their head is like kind of exorcist when you walk around them. But Trico he seems always perfectly aware of where you are, and when he looks at you and you can pet him and kind of like the way the two of them interact is just almost flawless. It really sells you immediately. And the puzzles so far, they're really interesting. They're a good mix. I'm typically not very good at puzzle games. I've been stuck for like a half hour, and then I'm like, oh, okay, I got this.
I would resort to game facts within 5 minutes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm really close to the part I'm at right now. That's part of the reason I haven't got further. I've been stuck in this one. Just not caving. But
I want to point out, Jesse in chat says the little boy kind of controls like Geralt before The Witcher 3 got patched.
Oh God.
yeah. Yeah. I see that. I didn't realize I patched it.
Is it like does he really control that poorly?
Yeah, it's just there's input lag. I'm almost positive there's input lag. He's got a lot of weight and momentum, and I don't know if it's intentional. He's just very clumsy. It feels like he's always not running quite in a straight line, kind of a little bit all over the place. So it hasn't really gotten my way a lot, but it doesn't feel tight to control. It's very loose, very weighty, very clumsy, and the camera especially, even when you turn the sensitivity up, I think there's a dead zone, and it's really sluggish. Like, it just sucks that all these technical issues are there, because they are problems. And that's why, as much as I love the game, it might even push Uncharted 4 up for my game of the year. If these kind of things bother you, like, I might actually have to even say you might not even be able to get through the game. Like, they're significant and they are a problem. It's just, for me, I'm able to ignore them and really appreciate everything else it does, which is amazing. It's just, if the technical problems weren't there, it'd be so much better.
And you're playing on a Pro, man. I wouldn't even try that on a regular. I only have a regular PS4. Wouldn't even think about it right now.
Yeah, if you're even thinking about getting a Pro in the near future and you're considering picking, I would just wait. Honestly.
If anybody in chat, by the way, had any question as to what a dumpster fire the official STGC Twitter DMs are, I flip over for a minute and I've got shirtless Gabe. So definitely not.
Oh yeah, there he is. All right.
Yeah, definitely not someone I wanted. Gabe, we love you and we miss you. I know you're listening, but please, for the love of God, don't ever do that again.
Sorry, just before I finish up, just to add, Jesse in chat just says you get used to it. You do get used to the controls, and like you said, there's very few moments that require precision. You're generally in forgiving circumstances where you don't need to nail a jump, and when you're walking across kind of really narrow ledges or thin, it doesn't really let you fall off. It's not like Dark Souls where you take one wrong step and you're just gone.
Yeah, pretty much.
So that's covered it pretty much. I'll let someone else drone on.
Okay. Well, Matt, what are you playing this week, man?
Which one?
You.
Okay.
Yeah, they put just Matt for last, buddy.
You're not Torpedo Vegas or Matt 2.0.
I forgot. Okay, so Jeff kind of stole my thunder there because I just finished The Last Guardian.
Oh, look, actually, you know what? That's perfect. Yeah. Without spoilers, dude. Now you've played the whole game, so let's hear it.
Yeah, it's amazing. I thought it was gonna be a mess, but it's kind of weird. Like, last 2 weeks, we've gotten 2 games that were announced like 10 years ago, and they somehow haven't been absolute disasters. So like,
yeah, let's just think about that. We're living in a time where we're playing Final Fantasy 15 and The Last Guardian within a week of each other, right?
A week?
Like,
that's crazy.
That's fucking insane. Like, we are either living in the darkest or the most or the brightest of times.
I mean, we're only 2 months away from Neo as well, and that game.
That game was announced before all of them.
2000.
yeah, wasn't that like 2004?
Yeah, unfucking believable. And they were, and neither of them were dumpster fires. Like, say what you want about Final Fantasy 15 and The Last Guardian, but they're both good games.
Yep. Neo is shaping up good too. So.
Oh,
people love Neo.
No
wait for Neo, dude.
Repeats here. Yeah.
I can't wait for Neo. But Matt, so I would, you know what? We've heard a lot about The Last Guardian. You can either talk a little bit more about that, or I would love to hear your thoughts on Final Fantasy 15 because we haven't really gotten to hear from you.
So I haven't played it much in the last few days because I've been playing The Last Guardian. I've just been busy. But like, I played up to chapter 10. So what I've played of it, I really like. Like, I watched Kingsglaive and Brotherhood before, so like the characters and stuff, felt already invested in the world. And like, the story is kind of a mess. Like, there's just certain things about it that don't work, like the whole Ravis thing, and like, there's a boss battle early on where they it shows the person's name and they have like I'm not gonna say anything, but it shows their name, and there is like, I'm like, I don't know who this is. There's no significance to it. It feels like a character that was meant to have like more to them. So like, there's a lot of things like that where it feels like it.
I know exactly who you're talking about too.
I don't, but
I was like, were they in Kingsglaive or what's going on?
I know, Brandon. Think about the very beginning of the game.
You'll have to tell me in DMs.
Yeah. I'll. Yeah. And once I say who it is, you'll be like, oh, right. But I can tell you right now, man. I know what you're talking about, and that's. I'll tell you in DMs. I'll tell you in DMs. But see, that's the thing, right? Is like, I actually had somebody, like, I was tweeting last week about my love for Final Fantasy 15. It was. I mean, it's my favorite it's my personal game of the year. And it's one of those things where I actually had somebody. I was tweeting very, very, very effusively about it last week. You guys like that word, effusively? I'm trying to use big words tonight. And somebody DM'd me and said, "You're just a Final Fantasy 15 apologist," and I was like, "Okay." Like, I don't even know what the fuck that means, but I didn't realize we were divided into camps. But I get the criticisms on the story. Like, having finished it, I've put about 65 hours into it. Having finished it, I do understand why people are criticizing the story, right? And there's a thing going around on GAF right now. Like, I don't recommend, like, if you haven't finished the game, don't visit the thread. But apparently some guy on 4chan who claims he worked for Square Enix during the development of the game. I mean, you can fucking say anything you want on 4chan, but he laid out this whole synopsis for the game, and people on NeoGAF are just going nuts and saying, this would have been so much better. And I'm like, this sounds fucking terrible. Like, I don't know what you guys are smoking, but this sounds awful. I'm happy with what we got. A lot of people say, well, there's not enough character development between Noctis and a certain character. But for me, the real relationship in the game is Noctis and his boys, right? Like, that to me is the true focus of the game. And I feel like the game does a really good job of building a believable bromance, for lack of a better word.
It's ambitious. They tried to tell two stories at the same time. They tried to have their traditional Final Fantasy story with the crystals and
the Empire,
and then they tried to have their more personal story. And I think they executed better on one than the other, of course.
I do too. I think and like I said, like I reviewed it on SDGC's website, and I gave it 5 stars. That's just how I feel about it. Having said that, I understand no game is perfect. I was frustrated that a lot of the story beats and later chapters seem to happen off screen. No spoilers, but they do. And I was like, okay, well, whatever.
And there's a couple big things that will assuredly be DLC.
I absolutely, yeah.
There's specifically 2 major story moments where they're like, it's like this huge thing happens, and they're just like,
Yep, I absolutely agree.
That would be DLC for sure.
But at the end of the day, for me anyway, and people are free to disagree, but for me, the positives of the game greatly, greatly outweighed the negatives.
I mean, that's how I feel about Last Guardian.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, but like Final Fantasy 15 gave me that old school Final Fantasy feeling I haven't had since like 9. Like 10. I like 10 for what it is, but it didn't really feel like a Final Fantasy game to me. 12 didn't feel. I fucking hated 12.
I don't hate 12.
13, and I'm on the 13 defense force. Like, I thought it was a good game, but a bad Final Fantasy. Didn't feel like a Final Fantasy game. This feels like a Final Fantasy game, especially with all the call-outs to the older games.
It is nostalgic as fuck.
It really,
the best
really
thing
is.
about it is being able to listen to all the old soundtracks in the car.
It's so good.
And it goes so much further beyond that.
It does, though. Matt, I will actually, both Matts, I would love to, like, once you guys finish the game, I'd love to have a spoiler cast with you guys where we talk about all the callbacks to older Final Fantasy. Because like Brandon said, they're thick.
I was seeing them all over, like, left and right, almost to the point where it's just like they ran out of ideas and they're just like, all right, let's do Final Fantasy 7 now. All right, let's do Final Fantasy 8 now.
Yeah, no, I loved it. I hope it sells well. I hope it's selling well in America because I would love for it to.
You can. How much can you really extrapolate from the Japanese sales?
Exactly. Yeah. But
the console market is in the dumpster over there. So.
The chat is turning on 15.
Oh no!
Well, just because we did.
You know what? This is our podcast. That's fine. We won't talk about 15.
Matt, do you want to just talk about The Last Guardian, even though I kind of covered it?
Yeah, there was a few things that I was want to say. Like, okay,
and then after this, we'll launch into the PSX talk from Torpedo Vegas.
Yeah. So like everything Jeff said, I just want to get the negatives out of the way first. Performance on base PS4 is horrendous. Like, but only it's like in very short bursts. Like it'll run perfectly fine, and then you'll get to an outdoor area and it'll just slow down. And luckily there's not many like thick forested areas where there's puzzles. I don't think there's really any, like, because it's very like scattered with like, it'll throw an area with grass at you and then there's none for forever. And it seems like the grass is really what tanks the frame rate. But the controls are a bit wonky. And like the combat, something about like, I don't even know if you can really call it combat, but like something about it just feels weird. Like I think I missed something, like Jeff said. Like I think they hit something in the manual there. But
I didn't realize the fucking game had combat.
It's not really like
until
combat.
tonight.
Like,
I mean,
it's almost more like avoidance. Like,
Yeah. Encounters.
Yeah, that's a better word for it. But yeah, like Trico is one of the best like companions in any game I've ever seen. Like the amount of detail they put into every single thing. I can understand why it took them 10 years to figure this out, because like there's so many little details that just like in any other game it would just throw everything off and it would not work. But somehow they make it work. Like it feels like a real animal, the way it reacts, and like doesn't feel like these canned animations over and over again. It feels like it's actually reacting.
That's how he's programmed, right? Like that's I mean, yeah, that's why he like refuses to obey your commands, because he's petulant, just like a real animal.
Yeah.
He's like, no, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, and like you can like pet him and he'll kind of like calm down. Like after, I don't know if like after some combat scenes, like he'll be like riled up, and you can like there are ways you can calm him down and stuff.
Has it ever reached a point where it's like annoying? You're just like, go over here right now. Come on. What are you doing?
I got a treat.
Not really. Anytime it's been annoying, it's been my fault, because like I'm missing something completely obvious. And then like the other huge thing that like I did not expect was like the set pieces. There's a handful of moments that are amazing, and like I don't know how they pulled some of this stuff off, because like remember when Titanfall 2 came out, Mission Cause and Effect, how everybody was like, this is something we've never seen before.
Glorious.
Yeah, there are a ton of moments like that where I'm like, I've never seen anything like this, and I don't. It's like very creative with it takes like these very basic building block mechanics and it like layers them on top of each other to make something that like I never would have thought of the mechanics working together that way.
So we've all seen. I just played the E3 demo a little while ago. Are you saying like even more than that?
Yeah, like later in the game there are some crazy set pieces.
Oh my god. I can't even just the couple parts I just played, I was like, it doesn't get better than this.
I just like Jeff sounds so legit when he said it like that. That was awesome.
And I think like what they're not like big bomb, there are some like big scale wise things, but like I think like what's most impressive is if you like look at how the game is actually handling these things, and like from a design perspective how you're working around it, because it's like there's all these unpredictable elements and somehow they all mesh together perfectly. And
the level design is like so good. Like John would appreciate it. It's very Dark Souls-esque, where you crisscross areas and you see places you've been.
Yeah, that's the other thing I was gonna say.
You have my curiosity.
Yeah, like the world that it's in. Like I think they say it in the first like 5 minutes, so it's not a spoiler, but like it's called the Nest, and so it's kind of like this like enclosed area. You look all around you and there's mountains, and so yeah, it's a lot like how in Dark Souls you'll like come back on an area, but it'll be like there'll be like a new twist on it or something, and it's really cool to just see like the changes in areas.
Does it like infuriate anybody that I got this and I haven't even bothered playing the game yet? Like it's sitting there in its steelbook case because I'm putting all my time into Final Fantasy.
Yeah, it's a little.
Yeah, I mean, at least you opened yours up.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I'll say this though, like it's nice. It's nice. I don't know if I'm going to keep it. Maybe I'll give it away on the show or something. Who knows?
You're not going to keep that? I'll take it.
I don't know. I tell you what, if I get rid of it, I'll give it to you. How about that?
All right, I'll trade you.
Even though I just said
beanie.
I thought you were going to give that to me anyway. You're an ass.
No, now I have something all over you.
Matt 1.0, you got anything else you want to say about The Last Guardian?
The only other thing I was thinking of was like the story kind of surprised me because like I played Shadow of the Colossus. I played Eco for like I don't know, like an hour, and it just didn't really click with me. But like I knew it was going to be a basic story, but it feels like the style of Shadow of the Colossus and Eco, but like just enough more like fleshed out that it feels like there's like consequence. Like Shadow of the Colossus has like consequence, but like it's very vague. And this is still vague, but like you get a better sense of the world, I feel. And it just like the relationship between the boy and Trico is really well done. And I won't say anything spoiler wise, but like Jeff asked if the ending was satisfying, and it is. Like it's really well done.
Awesome.
So,
Okay,
that's
that's good to hear. I love to have some coffee. Thank you, honey. Okay, so Torpedo Vegas.
Yes.
You're looking good, by the way, babe. You're looking real good.
Appreciate it.
Yep. And
Our
yes,
inside
yes,
man.
honey, you look too. You look good too. Yeah. So let's hear about it. Let's hear about PSX, man.
Cool.
Tell me about it.
Okay, I'll try not to monopolize too much time. I'll give like really quick sound bites on all the
No, dude. We want you to talk as much as you want about this.
Tell me about that Windjammers.
Oh my god.
Windjammers. That game is garbage. Who wants to play Windjammers?
And
Nobody.
fucking everybody. People don't even know how badly they want to play Windjammers.
No. It was really fun. The line to play Windjammers was redonk.
Deservedly so.
Did you just say redonk?
Isn't that insane to say?
Unironically, I will also at one point say the word lit, fam.
Try to work bay in there.
Matt is straight out of a.
I will find a way to throw all that in there.
All right.
But no,
Holy crap, that picture behind you is moving.
Yeah, it's creepy.
Yeah. Wait, I thought that was a person.
So
Oh,
did I-
Jesus.
It is a person.
What's happening?
I'm so confused.
Dude, this is like a fucking horror movie. All right.
Yeah. No.
I thought. Wait, is that? No, hold on. Wait, is that a painting or a fucking person? Stop.
It's a person.
Oh my God, it's a person. It's a person.
It's fucking
Whatever.
Vigo from Ghostbusters too.
She's
When I
just,
first saw it,
she's chilling
Vigo
there
the
playing.
Carpathian to come out
I
of
thought
his
that
paper.
shit was a painting. I thought it was a painting at first. Oh God,
it
I'm
is a
done.
painting, and she's in front of said painting, but she's just playing Pokemon while we talk.
I thought it was like Madonna on the rocks or something, and all of a sudden I see it moving around, and I was like, dude, there's a fucking spirit right behind you in your painting.
Look,
Probably do something about that.
it's weird, man. I don't know what to tell you. But no,
All right,
so-
PSX, let's hear it. Jesus.
So I pulled up a list of all the games I played, just in alphabetical order. So they're in no specific order. I'm just going to go through it. And unfortunately, when you're doing these demos on the show floor, you don't actually get a ton of like deep hands-on. And I was also working the event for a client, so I had even less time. But I gave a good like 5 to 10 minutes each game, just enough to get a feel of whether it was going to be good or not. So without further ado, feel free if there's a game you want me to expand a little more on, stop me and be like, yo, talk more about that, unless it's Windjammers, in which case just double bird right away.
John needs to understand the glory that is Windjammers. That's all I want.
Yeah, you know what? You need to explain this to me because Brandon is practically. Yeah, I want to hear it. Talk about Windjammers.
First off, I guess I should talk about the client of mine because they had a big game release, and one of my clients is Suda51's Grasshopper manufacturer.
Oh.
So we were pimping Let It Die during the event, which the big secret that we knew about was that they were going to show the new trailer at the conference and then do the whole and it's available today thing. But first of all, Suda's amazing, and it's being fun fact. It's being bankrolled by the Gung Ho, the people behind Puzzles and Dragons.
Oh
Yeah, the mobile company.
My God, that company, just endless pockets. It's amazing. They make over $5 million a day.
Yeah, I believe it.
It's crazy pants. But anyway, their CEO stopped by because the game was coming out, and he used to be the president of Square Enix. So that was cool to meet him. But anyway, back to the games. Let's like I said, they're in alphabetical order. So 2064 read-only memories, that really old school aesthetic pixel art adventure game.
Isn't that the one with Xavier Woods?
Yep.
Yeah. I can hear myself.
Precisely. The problem with adventure games are they don't really demo very well because they're not meant to be played in short bursts, and they don't really have that kind of like action quality to it. So I kind of cheated because I already knew I liked this game. So it was more just getting a feel to make sure that it all kind of worked well together. And I'm a huge adventure game fan. And so it was just kind of like, it was really fun. Also, side note, I met Kyle Bossman and Brandon Jones there.
One of whom has been on our podcast.
Yeah.
Now we just need to get Brandon Jones.
Yeah, we do.
The voice.
The man's got that luxurious voice.
What was
Kyle
Bossman like in person? Was he cool?
Super nice. Like,
Cool.
they were
Yeah,
exactly
I
what
imagine
you think they would be. They were super
That's
chill.
awesome.
Super like Greg Miller. They're all just like really nice in person and are just happy to meet people.
I love
They're
Greg
not
Miller.
weird.
Did Bossman have a razor in his back pocket? And
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Yeah.
The Schick Hydro Man.
Not this time.
I'm more of a lube. I'm a lube strip man.
Lube strip.
Okay, so Matt Squared or Matt.
All right.
We still haven't
Next
settled on the
game.
name for you. Like, so. Hey, I have a request.
Okay.
What did you play? Chasm.
Yes. Oh God, yeah.
Oh,
That's,
please tell me about Chasm.
Okay. Well, Chasm. So, I mean, I don't know if we do disclaimers. Like, I am a backer of it on Kickstarter from back in the day.
Disclaimer over. All right.
So I've been
there you go.
following this forever. And to get hands on the newest build and get that confirmation that the game is amazing just makes me so happy because,
Wait.
you know, coming off a post Mighty Number 9 World, I've been burned once. And so now you always have that in the back of your head, like, is it going to be good? But it controls so tightly. The difficulty is like that perfect level of Symphony of the Night style with that RPG upgrade mechanic with it.
It looks just like Symphony of the Night visually.
It's like a Super Nintendo RPG had a baby with Symphony of the Night.
Yes, I can't fucking wait.
That sounds
Crazy.
good.
Dude, it's literally like I mean, Brandon, you really should look up videos of it. Like, it's a
All right,
fucking
Chasm.
Metroidvania.
I'm sure
Yeah.
I've heard of it. I just don't remember.
It is a Metroidvania that looks like it'd be like, it looks like the animation is like Symphony of the Night on PS1 quality. Like, it's pixel and it's fucking gorgeous.
Just to give you an idea of like the fact that this is legit, there's a guy named Dan Adelman.
I've heard of it.
He's the man that really helped make Axiom Verge a thing, besides the actual guy that made the game.
Ooh.
And he basically gets to pick and choose his indie projects. And the game after Axiom Verge he latched onto was Chasm. So
There's some sexy pixel art on
I was
there.
going to say, I just heard Brandon emit a low purr, which means
Yep.
it feels like he's looking at Chasm right now.
this is damn
Looks
good.
good. It looks good.
Yeah, I'm all over that, dude. Somebody else, I know somebody else has got to have a question for Torpedo here about what he might have played at PSX. So I'm gonna let somebody else ask.
Well, he's got a list, doesn't he, of what he was going to talk about?
Well, I wanted to get you.
I'm curious about a couple games, but
But if you wanted me to talk about a specific game first, because I'm just going to go in order, so feel free to skip
Yeah,
ahead.
if somebody wants to ask.
all right.
man,
Well, I'm super excited about Strafe. Did you play any of that?
Yes, that was
Oh
that.
my
That was on
gosh.
the list. Strafe. It was at the Devolver booth, and the dev was there. The creator was there to like give some hands on. It is as fast paced as you could hope, and it controls shockingly well on the DualShock. I was very happy about that. They oh man.
So Strafe is like a first-person like Doom roguelike with
Pretty much. And it has that
1996 graphics.
that old school Doom feel to it, but with that weird, like, the fact that roguelites have made their way into every facet of gaming somehow. But it works well. It's like a first-person shooter version of Rogue Legacy.
that sounds fucking sick.
Yep. And it's like so visceral too. I love just by the trailers, like you just like blow something up and like there's like blood dripping down from the ceilings, and it's just like I am so excited to play that game. That's the one number one thing I'm jealous that you got to do is play that game.
We're gonna take some questions from chat, by the way, as we go on. I'm sure
Yeah. I posed the question in chat if anyone wants me to talk about it. Nino Kuni 2. Hohei asked, Horizon was playable. Gravity Rush 2, I believe was playable, but I did not get a chance to get my hands on it.
Did you play Horizon?
Since it was coming out in a couple weeks, it wasn't really high on my list because I'll just soon have it. But Horizon, all right. The two games with the longest line, one won't surprise you, and one might surprise you. Horizon Zero Dawn by far had the longest line.
That does not surprise me one bit.
Ever. Would anyone like to guess the second biggest line?
Somebody guess. I got an idea of it.
Knack 2.
Exact
same time. I'm assuming that wasn't playable.
Internet system. There you go.
Was it shown during the showcase?
No.
I have no idea.
It had to be Windjammers, right?
Nope.
All right. Well, I thought maybe I had it there.
The PlayStation VR title Farpoint.
What?
Ooh.
No shit.
I want to hear about that.
That game blew my mind. Like, if you were ever worried if a shooter game would work well on the VR, don't. Because that was shockingly good.
That is so good to hear. Because that looks, just by the trailers, again, like, that looks awesome. Like, how you can, like, look down and you can, like, see the holographic sights come up.
There are some good questions. Good questions coming up in chat. What was Horizon?
All right, I'm going through chat. So next,
hold on, wait. I have one question about Horizon. Does it look as good as we've seen in the trailer? Oof.
Yes.
Is it fun?
They had it on 4K.
Is it fun?
Yes. That's the beautiful thing about it. It plays as well as it looks, and it made me so happy because Horizon was like reaching Uncharted levels of hype for me, where I was worried I'm setting myself up for disappointment. And then even with just 10 minutes of hands-on, I walked away with, like, no worries.
I have heard multiple people who've had hands-on time with Horizon say that Sony is on the verge of something really big.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. And to think that it's from the thing that kills me is that it's from the people that did Killzone. And it has nothing to do with Killzone.
I'm not a Killzone fan.
Exactly.
Dude,
Killzone was like okay at best.
At best.
The story and how they kind of tie the story, I think, to the quests and game, like how it all comes together, I think is going to be the make or break.
Yep, I agree completely.
Okay, I'm going to say this, and I'm at no way actually making the comparison because that would just be silly. But it truly, you could make the argument that it is Zelda-esque.
It looks it.
With the open world, the quest system, and just the way that the game plays. Like, you could also say Witcher, but the vibe I get with the exploration and the wonderment is very Zelda-y.
I just went from 6 to midnight.
Is it like Monster Hunter-y at all? Like,
no.
It's more action based?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. The fights all have a really good weight to them.
Here's a really good question that nobody's asked. Like, is she constantly talking like she does in all the trailers we've seen?
I didn't notice it too much in the trailer. I mean, in the gameplay, but I enjoyed it when she did because it made it feel like a real person.
Like in every trailer we've seen, like the only thing that struck me as odd is that like if she's constantly talking, like if she's collecting stuff, she's like, all right, just one more. Okay, I got to find one more, and I'm like, that could grate on my nerves after a while. You know,
I'll put it like this: it seemed on par with the way Uncharted does it.
Okay, that's acceptable.
It reminds me, Dead Rising 4 does that a lot too. The new Frank West is hilarious, and that's like the dialogue is great. So, just reminded me of that.
All right, who else has a question for
well, I saw someone ask about Nex Machina, the new game by House Marquee.
Oh, yeah.
So good.
That's the Jarvis project, right?
Yeah. Robotron. And he was there, and I got to meet him. He's super nice. He's just sitting there blown away that games look like this now.
Yeah, I believe it, dude. Fucking Robotron.
You can tell that it's the Resogun team, and they joked. They're like, yeah, we even threw in having to save little green humans because those and direct quote because those fuckers can't take care of themselves, it seems. But no, the game itself played exactly like you'd think a 17 version of a Smash TV would play, but
God, I love Smash TV.
The twin stick shooting was so tight. It just controlled like a dream. It was amazing.
Well, dude, let's face it. Nobody when it comes to pure gameplay, nobody does it like Housemarque does, and that's just a fucking fact.
Diehard Housemarque fan.
Yeah, as am I. In fact, hey, was Tommaso there?
Was what?
Was Tommaso Di Benedetto there?
The community manager.
Yeah.
No, sir. He was not.
Okay, no, he's. We did an interview with him on the podcast.
Right, I remember he came on the show.
Before your time.
Yeah.
But dude, I Next Machina looks fucking. Hey, was there any Matterfall there? Because I didn't see it presented.
No. Matterfall was not, and either was Alienation.
Well, that doesn't surprise me because Alienation.
I asked. They wanted to showcase the game partner with the Smash TV guy.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
But you know what game was there that I hadn't seen since the previous year? Was Boundless. That game that plays like a Minecraft co-op game with a story mode.
I can't fucking remember I can't remember.
I didn't remember either until I saw it. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about that.
I'm gonna have to look that up.
Boundless PS4. When you see the trailer, you'll remember it. But it's basically take Dragon Quest Builders and then put co-op in it. And give it like an actual storyline.
That does sound like an excellent pedigree. Hold on, I'm going to look this up because I feel like I should know what you're talking about, and I don't. Oh, right. Okay, I know what you're talking about. Right. Okay, yeah. Whatever. It doesn't. It is what it is for me, but I understand that.
No, I mean, I gave it a shot. The next two I want to talk about are. I'm going out of order now because screw it.
No, dude, go right ahead. Just fuck it.
There are two other games I backed on Kickstarter, and this is a big thing for me to both, A, meet the people, and B, make sure, give myself that satisfaction that the game's going to be good. One was Cosmic Star Heroine, the people that made the Penny Arcade RPGs and Breath of Death 7 and a bunch of old school Xbox indie games.
I'm sorry. I know you meant heroin. This is like a female hero, but for a minute I thought you meant heroin is like the drug, and I was like, "Oh, that's heroin."
It feels like a drug. Oh,
man, I know you experimented in college and everything, but damn, man.
No, right? Quick aside, someone just asked how Parappa was. I will say that both Parappa, Loco Roco, and Patapon all played like a dream.
Yeah, well, I mean, they play like the original. I downloaded the Parappa demo, and it plays like Parappa, which is a good thing because Parappa is a fucking awesome classic.
And also, Crash and the Crash thing.
Ah, yeah. Tell us about that, Crash Bandicoot.
I didn't play too much because they're remasters, and I wanted to spend more time with newer games. So they had Parappa, Patapon, Loco Roco, Crash, all in the same. Strip, and they're really good. They've done a very faithful recreation of them. I think fans will really enjoy it.
I want to ask about Crash real quick because they call it a remaster, but it looks more akin to something like they did with Ratchet and Clank, where they kind of reworked it from the ground up. It doesn't look as good as Ratchet and Clank, but
no, remaster is not the right word for it. They're straight remakes. Remaster is something where you just kind of upscale something, but a remake, in my mind, is just a straight recreation of the game. So that's what these are.
Ratchet was called a reimagining because they kind of tweaked some levels and added some stuff. I think Crash is much more, I guess, traditionally.
I mean, the industry can't agree on a term.
Game.
Fucking Modern Warfare Remastered is a remake, but they just called it remastered.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I just want to find out. We have a fan in chat, our good buddy Dan, who asks, "What is Loco Roco and Patapon?" Dan.
I don't know about
PSP games.
They were both
Patapon was a good time.
People might not know.
Unacceptable to me. Somebody in chat, please educate our friend Dan. Who else?
Patapon.
Dude, who else has got a question?
I liked Patapon a lot. Not as much.
I've never played a Patapon game. I played Loco Roco.
So bad, dude. This is terrible. Patapon is amazing.
Patapon.
Yeah. I fucking love it, dude.
Great art style in Patapon.
What else did you play?
Well, going back to Cosmic Star, I'll just say one thing. It's if you enjoyed the Phantasy Star RPGs or Chrono Trigger, you are going to really enjoy this game.
Really?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it big time. Yeah.
I'll have to look this up now.
You should.
Heard Cosmic Star Heroine?
Yeah, I don't, dude. Honestly, like, dude, like if you type Cosmic into Google, like it's the first fucking thing that comes up.
It's made by I mean, they're gaffers. The one dude is a gaffer.
Yeah,
No,
It's
I'm
made
gonna-
by two people. Yeah.
they're super cool.
Oh, it does.
They did-
Look like, it does have that old school RPG. Look at
Yeah,
that.
they've done a couple games before. They did it was like Breath of Death 7, I think it was called.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, the characters
Call
even
of Cthulhu or something.
the characters even look like Chrono Trigger characters. It's like it's
Yeah.
the same pixel style. That's cool.
Yeah. And they also
But in a
they
Phantasy
did one of the
Star
Penny
sci-fi
Arcade
aesthetic.
episodes.
Yeah, those were good.
The other
They did
Kickstarter
episode-
game I played was a game called Heart Forth Alicia, which is just straight up a Legend of Zelda Super Metroid love baby.
That sounds sexy.
Yeah.
Not really though.
No, it is. Don't worry.
Hey, so I'm curious about Cosmic Star Heroine now. When is this coming out?
It was supposed to be this year, but it's going to be very early next year because they sometimes things happen and they
I
want
am
to
fucking
get out
all.
the tweaks.
How did I not know about this? This looks amazing.
Yeah, I don't know how you have
I don't know how you didn't know. It's been everywhere.
Dude,
It,
that
it
looks
has,
fucking awesome.
it has been pretty high profile as far as indie games go.
I don't know how the fuck that flew under my radar. What else did you play, man?
All right.
Oh, hold
So,
on.
real talk, Death's Gambit is amazing.
I didn't want to pass up Flunky's question. Flunky, what was that?
It was just about some games I was curious about.
What's up? Go
That's
Flunky.
They're both, I guess. Well, they're semi VR games. One is a true VR game. Did you play Dino Frontier at all?
Oh, the new
guy
VR
game
Dino
thing?
game?
Yeah.
I watched my friend play it. I didn't get a chance to get on it, but he seemed to really enjoy it.
Okay. I've heard just people talking about that, so I was curious.
Yeah, no, it's because it was one of the new VR games actually shown there. He said it was like what was it, Jurassic Park met, I forgot what he compared it to, but he seemed to really like it. It went up on his radar.
Cool. Yeah, for people who don't know, it's like a god game where you're like looking down and like your hands are physically in the world. But the other game I was going to ask about is Ace Combat. Did you play any of Ace Combat 7? Did they have the VR mode there?
They had it in VR. They actually had these big like flight chairs, flight stations. So it would actually like move you as you played. It was very immersive.
Whoa.
The thing about Namco Bandai games is trying to think of a way to put this. They are a client of mine, so I have insight into the stuff coming, which is why I was very excited about Ni no Kuni 2. And Ace Combat 7 was shockingly good. I mean, I enjoyed the Ace Combat games because they're fun, but I've never been like a huge fan. But I think Ace Combat 7, especially if you have a VR helmet and some Dramamine, because I get motion sickness, that's just me, was really amazing.
Oh man, I wish I could have been there.
On the topic of VR, did you get to play Resident Evil 7?
Oh, good
I
question.
did not, because that had a demo at home, and they were already all they were doing is showing off the demo that you could play at home. So I tried to limit my play time to games that I hadn't experienced yet.
I actually was able to tear myself away from Final Fantasy 15 long enough to play the Resident Evil 7 demo, like the updated one. Dude, that game is going to be fucking terrifying. I can only imagine what that must be like in VR.
Yeah, I was just worried about the VR. I remember the initial VR impressions were really bad.
I've heard that they've improved it.
Okay, that's all I was curious about.
Yeah, so the initial issue with Resident Evil 7 VR was the fact that like you didn't control things by like you didn't move forward like you could look around like this, but you could also do it with the controller. And it would just make you sick, right? Like people were literally like sick all day after doing it. But they changed it. They changed the way the game controls, and now apparently people are like, "Oh, okay, that's much better." So good on you, Capcom. You fixed it. But dude, Resident Evil 7 is legit. Like that game's going to be fucking huge. I think that is going to completely reinvigorate the entire franchise. I highly suggest everybody, if you have not played the updated version of the demo, go get it because there's actual combat in the demo now. and it gives you a really good sense of how the game is going to control, what the combat's going to be like. It is very much like playing Resident Evil, old school Resident Evil in first person. There's no it's just, you have to experience it for yourself, but it's that game is going to be fucking scary. Like when you're shooting, for example, there's no, in Resident Evil 4, which is a classic, but in those games you had a crosshairs, and you had this huge fucking arsenal. In this, it's just you looking down your iron sights of your 9mm, and I cannot. That is probably. I am looking forward to Resident Evil 7 more than I am Horizon, to be totally honest with you.
Bold claim.
It is a bold claim. Well, it's because I'm a huge horror fan. I'm a huge Resident Evil fan, and I really do think that I want the series to be really, really, really awesome again. Horizon is an untested IP for me. I'm really excited about it, but I think Resident Evil 7 is a sure fucking thing.
Yeah, Horizon for me, I actually like the Killzone games, but that for me is I like everything I've seen, but I will not believe that game's good until I play it. And I'm not doubting Matt's impressions or anything like that. It's one of those things I just have to have it in front of me and see it and play it to really be like, oh wow, it's actually.
I agree, which is why I waited in line to play it.
I think it's going to be good, but at the same time, I'm kind of with Jeff in that I've been told shit's going to be awesome before, and I'm like, great, and then it comes out, I'm like, oh, okay. And I can't get over the pedigree of Guerrilla Games. They do really pretty games with really incredibly dull storylines, and that's just what they do. So I'm reserving judgment on Horizon, but I am 100% certain that Resident Evil 7 is going to be the real fucking deal. For serious. Anyway, what else you got, man? I didn't mean to fucking bogart the mic from you.
You're all good. Like I said, that game Death's Gambit is absolutely fantastic. It plays like a 2D pixel Dark Souls game, and with a little mix of Shadow of the Colossus in it, because sometimes you're just fighting these gigantic beasts and climbing up them and trying to take them down bit by bit. I don't know when that game's coming out. They're shooting for early or mid 2017, so fingers crossed. There's another game called Absolver, and it's a game that it's basically a martial arts game. It plays like an action version of Jade Empire.
A game I have never played. I've never played. I know what it is, but I've never actually played it.
You get these cards and you build a deck of your available moves, and then you can either play through a storyline or have multiplayer where you just have these amazing martial arts battles with other people. So that's a really good one. Let's go down my list. Divide. I don't know if you've heard of Divide. It was it's kind of had a couple stealth announcements, and they just announced the release date for January 2017. It's an isometric sci-fi stealth game, part twin stick game, part isometric stealth.
Kind of like Volume? Is it like Volume?
Similar, but not aesthetically. Volume has its own look, but Volume's pure stealth.
Yeah, that's like the Robin Hood game, right? Like the futuristic Robin Hood game.
Yeah.
Yeah, right, okay.
Let's see. Going down the list. Played a little For Honor, but there was nothing different from the beta earlier.
When does that come out? When does For Honor come out?
February.
Is anybody here looking forward to that?
I'm looking forward to it. I mean, it's not huge on the list, but I'm excited.
Yeah, and Ubisoft has been knocking it out of the park lately. So
they really have. I've heard a lot of good things about Watch Dogs 2 from you guys. For example, I mean, Jeff wrote a review, great review about Watch Dogs 2, which you can find on our website, superperforminggamescast.com. Go visit it. So
it's in my top 3 for the year, which I never expected. It's really good.
Awesome.
All right, let's see. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to go soon because of work, but I'm going to give a couple more impressions.
Let's do it. And then we'll wrap up the podcast.
Yeah. So Sonic Mania is fantastic. Holy crap.
Sonic Mania, is that Sonic the Hedgehog?
Yeah, it's the new Sonic game.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
The throwback one. It's really good, shockingly enough. There's a tactical RPG, Final Fantasy Tactics style, called Masquerada Songs and Shadows. Incredible.
I have never heard of that.
Look that up right away.
Masquerada. There's so many fucking games coming out. Jesus.
UERADA. It is
Why are you
amazing.
talking about
It's already
I'm
out on
gonna look that
Steam.
up.
It's coming to PS4 early next year. But man, and then Nidhogg 2 was just pure fun.
I don't know what to think about that because I really
The
like
graphics throw you off, but the new elements to the gameplay are so addictive, like the bow and arrow. It just you don't even care about how it looks at that point.
But like I really like the old school Atari look of the first game, and it looks like they're going for like Super Nintendo visuals here.
They are.
Am I
it
wrong?
looks like they're going
Okay.
for like Clay Fighter visuals.
Yeah, I don't know.
But again, I'm not huge on them, but man, don't even care. Night in the Woods, which I feel like I've been waiting on forever, is so good. Oh shit.
I had a Night in the Woods once.
Yeah, you did.
Good.
It was good. I was there with you. Let's see.
That got weird.
Speaking of Night in the Woods, I don't know if that was at PSX or not, but A Flame in the Flood is coming.
Yes, it was at PSX.
That's been on my radar for a long time. I think it was
on
debuted.
Xbox, and it controls and plays perfectly on PS4. So I'm
Cool.
happy with that. Persona 5 was there. I finally got hands-on with Persona 5. I broke my own rule. I was trying to only play indie games and like Horizon, but I broke it for Persona 5. And then I think my personal favorite indie game at the show is Pyre, the new Supergiant.
Yes, I cannot fucking wait for that game.
Hands down, the new multiplayer mode was insane. The player versus player mode, like I didn't even know they were going to have multiplayer, and they do, and it's incredible. So, whew.
Pyre is
How does that work?
Yeah, let's hear it, dude. I want to hear about it. The Supergiant Games has never made a game I don't like.
Okay, so this is their first like RPG style game. And most of the demo is experienced through that, but I got a little taste of the multiplayer. It's not quite turn-based. You're both on each side of the map, like slowly converging on each other. Actually, that reminds me of a Tooth and Nail, which is another indie strategy RPG game with either PvE or PvP, but with like it's like Age of Empires, but instead of actual nations, it's types of animals fighting against each other. That is also shockingly good. And then Windjammers, I'll just throw out there, super fun. There's a reason it's so popular.
I can't believe you let Brandon wait your entire talk about PSX.
I don't need to wait, man. I've been playing Windjammers for 15 years. Like that's not.
And finally, Ukulele. Yo, real good.
Nice.
I'm about to totally shitpost in the chat. Keep going.
No, it's all good. That's it.
Our fearless leader.
Oh wait,
shitposted.
Torpedo Vegas, acknowledge me. What did he
YouTube chat.
say? The show retro mode. Oh snap! So it was really cool. They had an entire sports bar built into the arena. That was played like a baseball like sports bar, and you could get like game tickets that looked just like a baseball ticket to the game, and you could redeem it for alcohol. And then when you sat down to drink, they also had 4K TVs set up where you could play the show, and they were showcasing the Griffey Jr. retro mode. And I'm not a huge baseball game fan, but I can appreciate that it was pretty damn cool.
Yeah, the show has needed something like that for more of like the casual fans, because it's a pretty intimidating game to play for people who maybe aren't as familiar with baseball or are trying to get into the show.
Not just mechanically, but like baseball for people that don't like. If you're not into the sport, like the stats. People, when I try to show them baseball, they see like all the stats and the different numbers, and they're like, "What is?"
Yeah. Yeah, this dude, he's batting, he hits 1 out of every 10 balls whenever facing a left-handed pitcher on Tuesdays
With
when
runners
the weather
on.
is cloudy. Yeah, it's crazy.
That sounds like that Microsoft spin from earlier.
That was
The best Sunday, November 27th in Xbox.
so much engagement.
Anyway, I gotta go.
All right, man.
Always
Dude,
great.
Thanks so much, man. We appreciate
No, it was fun to be able to talk about all the stuff at PSX because all my friends, they're like, whatever. They don't play indie games. It makes me sad, but I'm happy I can finally have someone to talk about.
Are you going to be here next week for our Game of the Year podcast?
Sure am.
Awesome. Okay.
Oh, is that next week?
That's next week, man. Game of the Year.
Damn.
Game of the Year. Yeah, and that's for everybody in chat. Game of the Year podcast next week. I have a feeling based on the scores, because Jeff and Flunky actually came up with a really cool way to kind of just determine what our collective game of the year is. And they came up with this really cool scoring system. And looking at the scores, I
Just a rip off of what other people do.
but it's
Are we
great.
just going to list our top 3 or what?
See you later, man.
Hey, Matt.
We're actually going to have a game of the year for SDGC, and I think based on where the scores are going, I know what it's going to be.
I knew it before.
It's not set in stone.
We'll see. We'll see. I mean, it's going to be interesting. But we're also going to set it up as like we got a platinum trophy, a silver trophy, or a gold trophy, and a silver trophy because this is the Pony Cast, and we're all a bunch of Sony fanboys.
It just doesn't sound as cool to have 1,000 point.
It really does.
1,000 gamers
750 point.
Yeah. I'm sure somebody will call as much as
Steam
Sony
achievement
fanboys
number
now.
1.
Although
Those are horrible.
I will say, and I say this, I'm not trying to stir the pot or anything, but man, that Microsoft PR statement from earlier was just
I didn't see it, but I can imagine.
it's impressive. It was impressive. Talk about.
I mean, it's been the same thing for years.
It's their job, though, right? That's a
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Sony does the same thing. Yeah.
But Sony's are not as good, and I'm actually giving Microsoft a compliment here. Their fucking PR statements are second to none.
Sony just doesn't give a statement sometimes. They just say nothing.
They're like, all right, we lost, whatever. like this sucks, and we're gonna go take our toys and sit in the corner and sulk. But man, dude, Microsoft does the most massive, and Z-Huge, our boy Z-Huge, who might be coming back to join us for an episode. He makes the funniest posts about whatever these companies throw out PR statements. Like he riffs on them in just the most amazing fucking way. Oh, hold on, wait. I just see in chat. Are there going to be bronze trophies? I thought we were doing platinum, gold, and silver. Are there going to be bronze? Is there going to be bronze? Okay.
Yeah, we'll do all 4.
This is your show. I'm hands off, man. This is you guys. Like, you're running the show, man.
No,
Well, you're
I don't
footing
like
the bill
to
for
just
the
pick,
physical trophies, right?
Well, hold on, Jeff. Are you hosting next week?
Oh, hell no.
You're not going to host? You don't want to host
No.
our Game of the Year episode?
I had my fill of that.
Who wants to host? Does somebody think they can step up to the plate?
I nominate
Host,
JT.
JT, how about, dude, let's hear it.
I don't have a suit and tie readily available.
It doesn't matter. Wear that big stack of hats you wore. In the,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God.
Hey, what happens in DM is supposed to stay in DM.
I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. You look like you absorbed the souls of a bunch of 90s era teenage rappers. But it was like, holy shit.
Yeah, that camo hat really did it, right?
Dude, Dan in chat says, please host Jeff. And speaking of our friend Dan in chat real quick, I just want to say that Dan is going to be appearing on the podcast here very soon in the next couple weeks. And Dan's got some stuff coming up. And Dan, we love you, man, and we wish you nothing but the best. And yeah, man, you're I know you're going through some stuff right now, but I won't talk about it because that's your business. I'll leave you to talk about it if you want to when you come on. But you're a good guy, dude. Dan's been one of our longest standing viewers he's been here almost since the beginning.
Pretty much since the beginning.
Yeah, and Dan is good people, and we've got a little something working for you, Dan, to kind of make things a little easier for you over the next few months, and we will let you know what that is when you come on the show, man. But I think you're gonna like it. We reached out to a few people, and we got some stuff going. So yeah, everybody, please send your love to Dan.
All the best, Dan.
All the best, Dan, and we're looking forward to having you on the show in a few weeks. Does anybody have anything else they want to mention? Anybody? No?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
All right, so I am going to go back to playing Final Fantasy 15 because that's what I do with my life now. Thanks
I'm
for
gonna go get the new Rocket League toppers. They got an Elf's hat now. They got
This is so
so many
sad.
more like antennas, like candy canes and stuff.
This
I got
is-
a boost that says "ho ho ho ho."
This is so bad. Like I don't even know. I don't. Okay, go do that. You go do your thing, man. So yeah, tune in next week, and also please go visit our sister podcast. Sam is in chat. Our sister podcast, Basement Radio Arcade, which goes live every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please go check them out. Oh yeah, and we got the Spider-Man trailer coming up tonight. Spider-Man Homecoming trailer. So
Should be within 30 minutes.
yep, I'm gonna
Hype.
I'm going to watch the shit out of that because I'm a huge Spider-Man fan. But at any rate, as always, my friends, it's not always poetry, and we don't always agree, but we always keep it real. We'll see you guys next week for our Game of the Year episode. See you later.
See you.